matchup as he goes up against a very young rookie in the form of Broxton.
That's funny that you say that because I saw your little tweet there.
Yeah. A bit of a bold prediction. Definitely thinking Smithy is the favorite, but it's all going to depend on the matchup and how things play out as we jump into champs.
Well, the draft will tell us a lot. As always, Galio Tristana banned by Immortals Fnatic. It's the Red Side Classic now at this point. Kalista once again taken away, and Jarvan, I love this change from Fnatic. Again, targeting Xmithy in Champ Select.
Right, now we're looking at Rakan, as well as the Gragas still available, and Sejuani that you mentioned. So one of these is going to be traded over to see which one Immortals value most. Yesterday, I mean, they just first picked the Ezreal straight out of the gate, and they were not shy about using that one. They talked about wanting to clean it up, though, and we'll see what they decide to switch gears.
Right now, just kind of chilling out. About 5 seconds or so left, and maybe a different jungler. Yeah, Gragas actually selected there for Immortals.
That's the one we were thinking more towards the switch here. Smithy back on the Cinderhope jungler. He has had some very good Gragas games, being the front line and the initiator for the team, as well as being able to pull off early playmaking.
Now I'm expecting Fnatic to look at junglers like the Rek'Sai. I don't want to be seeing Broxah going on that Elise again in the current meta game. She isn't the strongest, especially in terms of her impact against tanks. Another big jungle pick could be Zac, who've seen fall off in terms of priority, but still has been played here and there over in Europe. For the time being, it looks like their focus is making sure they have a strong two-list system.
It's interesting to see Lulu get picked here for Fnatic. I think a lot of teams, at least early on in the tournament, are favoring Lulu over Janna, given how strong Ardent Center is. But Janna's win rate is insane so far in the event.
I think a large part of it is very much playing towards the laning phase, because Lulu does add that extra wave that adds that extra power, and it helps get you towards that extra early turret and just allows you to make a few more plays down towards the bottom side of the map. But as Rady said, when it comes to team fights, when it comes to things like resetting the game, Janna certainly has a lot of value.
Yeah, and no surprise, they're traded here. Whenever both of them are left up, gonna have the other team grabbing it in the first round, because the second round of bans would come through and you would have that denied. Kog'Maw for Cody Sun, though. Talk about this one before we go back to Fnatic, as they're also quickly locking in their champions. Kog'Maw was so big for Cody Sun, one of the ones that he has had very strong performances on, and especially with the double disengage combination of Gragas and Jenna locked in around the Kog'Maw, it gives him the confidence to just stand and fire. That's what you want. You want to make the most of your Bio Arcane Barrage uptime, pop the W, and get as many autos as you can within that cooldown out. Having people really supporting around you to make that happen helps so much.
And while Cody Sun may not have had the strongest of performances yesterday against Longju, watching him play this champion during the regular season, he was impressive to me. It makes it so much easier when you literally just stand there and do the pew pew pew, because he just is a constant reliable damage output, especially when you have such a fantastic support in the form of a later back.
Well, interesting that Fnatic sniped the Rise away from Pervelta, who played it yesterday, and of course took the Twitch to get a big, strong late carry there.
Now this is quite interesting from Fnatic's perspective, because for a long time they've been playing much more towards the meta game. They've been playing much more of the style of, okay, we need to pick up the Tristana, the Xayah, the much more meta AD carries, but when Fnatic were playing their unique style, much before Rift Rivals, Twitch was one of the champions that Reckless brought out when things like his Kennen were taken off the board. And it's something that he's good at in terms of using on the side lanes especially, just appearing out of nowhere, ganking your top laner at level 7 for no reason to just find that random pick. And it feels like Fnatic, they're going, all right, we're going a little bit old school, we're going back to comfort, but Twitch still falls within the realms of meta, given the value of hyper carries in what we are today.
Well, we've been through 4 more bans as well. Quickly recapping, Elise, Malco, Renekton, and Syndra all gone. There's Cho'Gath, but there's Jace for Immortals.
Yeah, jump on that one, Pastry, because we're gonna break it a little bit, at least crack open the meta here, as Flame will be able to have a carry champion in the top lane. That's probably where Jace is gonna go, with Pobelter locking into Leah now. So we just quickly accelerated the pace of this game. Kog'Maw's an AD carry that can spike on a single item. That plus Ardent Sensor with Jenna would be plenty of damage. Jace can spike really early. Talia gets to move around the map very early. So looks like Immortals do want to play this game a bit faster than Fnatic and try and really accelerate the pace, especially in that top side.
This is an exciting composition from Immortals, playing towards the top side. And Broxah, he's going to an old classic. When he joined the European LCS, it was Lee Sin that he debuted, and he made it to Reddit on the first day. This guy was very comfortable on the champion. It fell out of the meta game, but now he's looking to bring it back. We saw it a couple times in play-ins with mixed success here and there.
It did get a slight buff in the last couple patches leading up to Worlds, where they added extra 15 health onto the shield for both him and whoever he shields in the early game. Skirmishes can sometimes be determined by very, very slight amounts, and that is worth noting. But man, we're gonna have to see, because that is a bold pick. You talked about how low the frequency is with this champion. It doesn't provide the same front line that something like Gragas has, and that's why really people have been trending towards that.
But now the pressure is going to be on Broxah, because when you are on Lee Sin, you need to be making plays. You need to step up. And while he didn't have a terrible performance, he could not keep up with Levi yesterday. And being a rookie on the international stage, eyes will be on him and how well he can contribute to the success of Fnatic.
Part of the reason why he wants to take this risk with Lee Sin, maybe they see this Jace pick and they know if Jace plus some jungler presence, that can absolutely destroy a Cho'Gath. And we've seen Conduit, we've seen multiple carry top laners try their hand. Flame is back up on the horse.
I love that you mentioned Khan, because of course Khan is kind of the hot player coming into Worlds this year, the quintessential carry top laner. But Flame, depending on when you started watching League of Legends, you should know his name and you may not know Khan. So Flame digging deep into his history and saying, I may have played for my team, with my team a lot more, but hey, give me the Jason, I can still carry a game.
And part of the reason we're so excited for this pick is that it is more risky to pick carry top laners. It's more risky to pick supports that don't use Ardent Sensor like Alistar or something that are used for engagement. And a lot of teams have not been willing to take these risks, because you have to keep up the pressure and you have to execute for such a long time without making a mistake to keep your snowball rolling.
And it's just so exciting as well, watching Flame and Soaz go up against each other, big veterans in the top lane, but we also have to hark back to the chaotic game that was Fnatic versus Gigabyte Marines.
Fnatic certainly had a lot going on in that game, but picking up a loss there versus the Gigabyte Marines. A lot of damage done despite how bloody the game was between the two, so Fnatic gonna have to reset here. Again, both teams come in having already played a game, and it was to a loss, so early game gonna be crucial here. And the teams, I think, are playing a lot higher tempo with the picks that we've seen.
And the big stat to look at in that lower third was very much the opposition towers versus the number of towers that Fnatic were able to get, 1 to 4. Fnatic just could not keep up with the pressure of the Gigabyte Marines. And we were just talking about in Draft, Kobe, how this was going to be a higher paced game for Immortals. They have the Jace, they have the roaming Talia. Let's see how Fnatic can handle this kind of pressure.
Well, they're already starting here before minions even spawned, getting some deep wards in this red quadrant. Smithy and Flame going to probably start out here and successfully steal us away, unless Soaz scaled Rupture or something and hit a super long range. Rupture is still away. It doesn't look like he'll get into range, but he's still hanging around.
I have to see what the response is, though.
Could throw out the Hail Mary
from Broxah. Maybe just going to do it. Smithy ready, does have his smite.
Yeah, he's not going to do it. Soaz actually goes over to the lane, trying to get that experience while he does have it. Now, talking a little bit about the intricacies of Jace into Cho'Gath, we want to emphasize the importance of Jace bullying from early on. You want to get those range harassments in and then go into the brush to drop the ranged minion aggro so you don't take damage on the backswing. Then the next step is denying Cho'Gath from the minion last hits so he doesn't regen off of the passive. Sometimes this requires, some jungler presence to try and get up there and really keep him off that wave.
I feel like you've played the Cho'Gath in this matchup before, because
I play the jungler, my friend, and I always get up there.
But it's definitely expecting a lot of early pressure toppers. This was the 2v2 that we heard Rusty talking about. He has a lot of confidence in Reckless and Jez's, and if you're a European fan, you're certainly going to have that same level of confidence, because especially when you look at Cody's son, he's not really considered one of the greatest AD carries that North America has to offer, and he is very one of those staple consistent, but it's Ole that you really look at when you're thinking of this bottom lane for a minute.
And meanwhile, if we're on the bottom side of the map, you got to look at the mini-map there. Broxah on this Lee Sin. This was the highlight pick in Champ Select. He's already down here. Teleport comes through. They want to die.
What a great walk from Broxah. Here's the 4-man dive from Fnatic. Ole going to dive to the tornado. Did he get the direction right? No, Broxah just to be able to get in there. The dive is good. And first blood to Reckless. Jesus heals up and maybe able to tank the turret. 3 members here on the top side. They're trying to dive Soaz. Silence goes out. Xmithie going to start it up now. He's tanking for the knockup. It's amazing from Soaz. He's still going to die. Pobelter gets the kill, but Flame is forced to flash.
So an even trade either side. Fnatic were first on the play, and Broxah comes up huge. But Immortals, they're smart, they react quickly, and they're able to trade it on either side. So Flame is able to get a lot of early pressure down and do exactly what he needs to in this very pivotal matchup.
Gotta commend Fnatic there for beating them to the punch, though. They go with the Lee Sin pick there. They're not surprised by top lane focus with Jace at all. They say, okay, we're just gonna focus bottom lane, and we're gonna get there first. Now they could continue on that.
Reckless actually, again, ambush just is flashed in for that one. Tornado might be enough. Broxah back in. Reckless gets kill number 2.
Fnatic so ready for this. They're able to capitalize once again. Even though Cody's son still had flash, they find the second kill. And guess what? This is bottom lane meta. They're going to get that Twitch ahead.
And Broxah coming up huge. Eyes were on Broxah. Eyes were on this Lee Sin about how well he could perform. And he is doing a phenomenal job in this early game for Fnatic.
For Immortals, though, they did not come away empty-handed, remember. Flame on this Jace. He is going to have complete control over Cho'Gath. So as, you know, he's known for trying to get out of a lot of top lane plays and survive, but it's going to be difficult. There are extra wards now in the top side. Even though Broxah's heading up there, we'll have to see. Maybe they go for an engagement.
They're going to play aggressive here. No sums left to try and play with.
He will be spotted out, though, by the ward that is in the far brush. I like this play from Fate, respecting the possibility of a turnaround from Broxah. And it's so important that he has this respect, because on the Jace, he is the big carry. We talk so much about how eyes will be on him and how he performs in this early game. And after getting such a significant CS advantage and a successful tower dive in the top, he wants to maintain this lead.
Here's another look at the early dive from Fnatic. As we said before, you know, people watch Khan, they watch Longzhu. You know, they're definitely expecting the camp on top side, so they send Broxah down bottom plus the teleport from Caps. We also have to talk about, you know, that mid lane investment. Then Immortals, they don't come away empty-handed. They do get the kill on the Soaz, even though they have to burn the flash.
Yeah, I think IMT did a really good job of just utilizing the flashes just when they need to. But then Fnatic, they wanted to make sure that they were the ones that came out ahead in the trade.
All right, so this you know that they're going to get the second kill here. I want to return to the live game, though, because we left the top lane in a state where, yes, Lee Sin was up there and Soaz was able to push the minion wave, but they didn't push it all the way into the turret. So Flame was able to keep this minion wave here during both of those replays and increase his CS lead, you know, an extra 20 now for him, and the minion wave very close to the front of the turret. Soaz actually doesn't have a lot of vision up there to help him. So if, you know, Xmithie or Pobelter, even now that he's post level 6, made another visit up there, they could really return to this scene and try and punish more.
And now the game has been split in half for both sides, and Soaz is taking a lot of damage here.
Yeah, Pobelter actually up with the wall as well. He's going to start riding it. Soaz could be in trouble. He does have his flash, but he's going to try and dodge out of the way. Not quite enough. Pobelter grabs the kill.
Right on cue, as we say. Pobelter roams right up to the top side. What will Caps answer with? You know, Ryze does have an ultimate that can get him, you know, a little bit close to that amount of distance, and bottom lane has been the focus.
But now Xmithie, he's reading the roam from Caps. It's already been pinged by Pobelter. Be warned of the roam. 4 members of Fnatic down here. I think their eyes are on the turret.
Certainly are right now. Going to try and take it. Broxah shows himself. Xmithie scouting for the potential rise. Oh, they're just, yep, but the turret's still getting low.
Janna does help in these situations, trying to put the shield onto the turret, but now they're getting damage on Xmithie too. Ultimate used. Nope. Not going to be the case here. It looks like Fnatic might back off.
And now keep your eyes on the minimaps. You can see that Pobelter, he pushed up mid, and he's now the one in control of that brush, looking to try and catch Caps out of position. But also look at Flame, moving up through the middle lane, potentially there to offer that support to his mid laner if he gets collapsed upon, and just around to offer assistance to the rest of his team.
Well, Caps does take a lot of damage. Moving back, nice ward from Pobelter does enable that, but I like seeing the teams move themselves around. I have to remind you, Immortals basically declared that this was going to be how the map was split with the way they started and forcing vertical jungling. So no surprises now. It's just about the team's adaptation.
And just look at the vision on your minimap too. There is nothing for Soaz in the river. And Cody, you mentioned this earlier on as well, where they did not choose to push it up. Broxah was in the lane, yet Soaz and Broxah, they just didn't do anything with it. He didn't help his top laner get the minion wave under the tower. That forced Soaz to overextend, and he had nothing there to help him prevent that roam from Pobelter.
So let's examine it once again, because it's not going to get easier for Soaz. Now
Nope.
it's a Cho'Gath without Flash in the top lane versus a Jace, who also has picked up the early lethality. Now, the reason why we have to keep mentioning Serrated Dirk as such a powerful early buy, especially in lanes like this, Jace can use it extremely effectively. People don't often take into account the second passive for Serrated Dirk, the Headhunter, where after killing an enemy, your next damaging spell is going to get that 40 bonus physical damage. Tremendous harassment. You just kill off a minion with Jace, and you get the long-range Shockwave. That's going to be able to do tremendous amounts of damage to the Cho'Gath to kind of harass them under the turret, and that provides a lot of extra zoning as well, so you have to watch out for that on the top side. Meanwhile, it's that converse situation for the bottom side where Fnatic have the advantage, Vedius.
Yeah, you can just see Reckless. He's already hit that level 6 mark. Xmithy trying to answer, though.
Oh, he missed the body slam. Had the ultimate as well, but Reckless gonna live to tell this tale. Broxlow trying to answer Fnatic, happy to get aggressive.
The thing is here for Fnatic that they really have, gone back to the classic style that they were comfortable with prior to Rift Ride.
Everybody in bottom lane now. Jungler's here, and the turret is still low, but it's not quite toppled yet. There is also an Infernal Drake, though, so many things could really tip over here in the bottom side of the map. Brox is actually going to start it off now. Control Ward goes down. He is seen on this one for the side for Immortals, though. Teleports for top laners definitely available.
Exactly that. So many summon spells are up and ready to be used. Xmithy, he does not have his smite, but it's just about to come off cooldown, and Pobelter's already on the move.
Gonna go for it now. Pobelter with the walking and try and cut him off. Brox actually tried to solo here. Could cost him a lot more. Caps ready with his ultimate and the teleport, so they can get there, but the pressure's starting to mount on the right-hand side.
Yep, really good wards outside of the sides of the objective pits. We see it oftentimes around Baron, where teams a long time ago adapted to putting wards on the side, so you can see people if they walk into it rather than being cleared out very easily with those control wards. Works on Dragon 2 there. Portals do benefit, and they chase them off the Dragon. Proxa's going to take some of the chickens in compensation.
And now the race between Fnatic and IMT comes down to who can get that first turret, because that Jace is not slowing down. He's just constantly pounding onto the tower, and it is getting close. Smithy has found Broxer.
Great body slam there. Denies a bit of the resonant extract damage. Really, Ward hops and kicks him back in. Caps, though, was not ready for it, but respectfully, Xmithy will flash away.
All right, they're still on the rampage, going down bottom now. They're trying to use that momentum.
Here comes Caps. Tower is low, and that will be taken. Two members of Fnatic warp into the bot side, and that's first turret over to Fnatic, but more importantly, more gold for Reckless.
Now the question is, do Fnatic swap things up? Do they try and get Soaz out of this lane and get him as much farm as possible? Because they may want this top tower to fall. They may want to just have a lane that's overextended so that Soaz has a safe place to farm back up. But no, Fnatic, they want to get some kills.
Such a great sneak around there for Reckless. Brox hops over the wall. Cody's stun. Just lets fire, but he can't really do too much. The TP coming in as well. Broxer gets blown back by the Monsoon, and Pobelter actually might be here in time to save his team. Here comes Flame. He's going to try and slam somebody down, but bit of an awkward angle. Cap still locking down. Looks to get damage onto Xmithy.
Xmithy does have the ultimate, but it looks like they're not confident in using it, and they don't even throw it out to try and get a flash. Disengage there after a very sneaky initiation. Double teleports go down from Fnatic, Flame teleports from the top side, and the top turret just barely does stand.
Like the response from Immortals, though, the fact that immediately Pobelter roams down. You then have the TP coming in from Flame after Ole keeps his AD carry alive for as long as humanly possible. They avoid the surprise pick from Fnatic, and no further advantages go in the favor of the European team.
Very big prize is still on the table, though, this Infernal Drake, and there's still a control ward from Fnatic sitting on top of it. See what they can try and do to press the momentum here. A lot of vision has been spent on that bottom side.
Well, as we can see, Fnatic up about 1,000 gold thanks to that turret. And seek to remind everyone that Flame has now finished his Ghostblade, and he's creeping up 50 CS ahead of Soaz. And if you've ever heard the phrase Flame Horizon, it is eponymous to that man in the top lane for Immortals. He is the 100 CS lead king. We'll see if he can get there today, but so far, so good in that top lane.
And it's so interesting to talk about these two top lanes as well, because they are veterans of the League of Legends scene. Soaz, he's been playing since 2010, and Flame, he's been playing since 2012. These guys have been League of Legends professionals for such a long time, and they're here once again at the World Championship, representing their regions at the highest level.
Speaking of Soaz, he gets vision of Smithy stealing away this red, so that might be enough for Fnatic to take the Infernal Drake because their bottom lane pushed up. You know, this is the dominating area for Fnatic on the map. They've got the control down there. They're counter jungling first. And it looks like Mortals are happy to split the map.
Rox is in the right spot for it as well. Stole away the red buff, and even Pobelter is roaming. He can again see just how split these teams are forcing the map to be.
And remember, the fact that that tower goes down means that Soaz now has a little bit more safety with regards to his farm. He just has to be very careful of the amount of vision within his own jungle because Pobelter is always looking for roams. 2-0-0 on this Talia. Bit of an unsung hero so far in this game, as his impact across the map has been a large contribution as to Flame's lead as well.
A lot of times, though, when that turret goes down and you try and just freeze in front of your lane, and you try and you know, have this safer area of farming, you get punished elsewhere, right? People press the other side of the map. That's why it's so key that Fnatic were able to take this Infernal Drake off first, kind of remove some of the possible bottom side of the map areas for Mortals to pressure. Now that means that probably it will be the Rift Herald focus next, you know, for that neutral objective, and then try and turn that into some chaining turrets. But currently, the gold is almost dead even. Just this extra little Infernal Drake and the areas of concentration of that gold is what really determines the difference.
Now, what I think is quite interesting about this game, though, is the fact that Flame, when you think about the whole comp and his value in these late game team fights, he is playing the split pusher. He's not on a big tank. So utilizing a Jace in a fight is going to be much harder. The reliance on him is to keep playing on the side lane and drawing attention away from the group of the 5v5, splitting up Fnatic as much as he can. Whereas Fnatic, they're quite happy to scale. All their gold is on their late game insurance of the Twitch. So I feel like there's a little bit more pressure on Immortals to be the ones to keep the pressure going and to continue the snowball that they built up in the top side.
And again, the theme continues. The map is absolutely split as Immortals with 3 and Fnatic with the same. Take down the turrets almost around the same time, but Aldous are now felled as the sides of the map continue to open up.
And again, the difference maker is going to be the neutral objective. Fnatic are also on the other side of the map where Rift Herald resides, and they're going to be able to pick this one up in addition to the turret trade to be able to get this.
And Caps is a happy man because he's not getting camped. And one thing that he's always experienced playing North American teams is they like to come mid. And for him and Pobelter have pretty much just been leaving mid lane and been moving to these side lanes constantly, both utilizing their ultimates as much as possible. And they will be much bigger factors in the later game. Their roams have been impactful in the early, but their damage is really going to be a big determining factor as we get to those later fights.
Well, again, CS lead for Flame that we mentioned already. Reckless also building a very similar one. Kind of a curious little build. I know Reckless does have a very
frozen map.
He's a big personal style when it comes to his builds. He went Runa's, Executioner's Calling, and now has a VO Sword like to move into some sort of IS. But regardless of how you split it, he's very strong as Reckless moves into mid lane. Pobelter insta-flashes in Xmindy. May not make it out alive! Reckless dives under the turret for a kill.
Yeah, you hold on to that ultimate a little bit too long. Even at a second's hesitation, Reckless gets off the extra damage there with the glitter on top, and Fnatic are pressing ahead.
And this is a classic Reckless move. He just stealths up, appears in a lane you least expect from him, and he's able to find a pick. And now Fnatic, they're the ones pushing the play, and they're the ones getting another town.
Big chunk of damage there from Flame, but not enough to defend the turret. Let's watch this play again as Reckless camouflages in mid lane.
And this is just the thing, so from IMT's perspective, they think Caps is overextending, but then all of a sudden, Reckless just appears out of nowhere. Jez is just in the fog of war, is able to give him that Ardent Sensor buff, and they just shred through the tank, and they're able to get themselves an objective.
Immortals back out on the map, trying to answer the turret here, and they will be able to take this one, but again, the death toll stacking up a little bit there, and they do have to keep that in mind. Extra few wards up on this top side. Now the Rage Blade is completed for Cody's son. They're actually okay with fighting, but you have to worry about that setup.
Certainly do. It's Flame more than enough as he moves into mid to help Immortals take down the turret. Likely back to split push. Judy already in the bot lane, clearing out those minions, and Cody gonna hang out in top, trying to keep his farm going, but Reckless looks like a pickaxe has moved into nestle beside that BF sword. I'm pretty sure. Let's give you the IH second, as that is quite, there's a wonderful stat. NAJS hasn't done too well. Flame's a Korean player. He's played in the LPL. I'm not too sure he falls on the spectrum, but I guess for now, is on Immortal, so still NAJ. So we'll see if he can break the curse.
Well, Jace is a very difficult champion to take advantage of. The only team we've seen fully utilize it is Longzhu during the regular season of 2017, or summer regular season, I should say. And IMT have done a good job so far in the early game, but now Fnatic are grouping up.
And that's where the dangerous part of utilizing Jace always comes up. It's in that mid to late game. Because yes, it is easy solo, 1 versus 1, and into the lane phase, it usually goes pretty easily for the Jace. But the key is that the teams haven't been able to utilize it successfully to get the objectively, to get the pressure down. And with Fnatic actually reacting, storing everything onto the bottom side of the map, they're actually set up quite well here as they transition through the mid game. So we have to see what Immortals can actually do to try and change the way that this game is going. Otherwise, they may just end up, yeah, another NA Jace.
But look at all the vision that's been set up from Immortals around the top side of the map. They have their eyes on this Baron, spawning in about 50 seconds. With a Cogmore, especially with a Rage Blade, you have a surprisingly fast Baron take as well. And Fnatic, they can't afford to drop the ball when it comes to that sort of control around that area of the map.
Yeah, they may even look to do what Longzhu did to them and try and give up the Dragon and try and run down and quickly take a Baron. But it looks like since there's 10 seconds earlier spawn on the Drake, they might go for that one.
So
it was about to expire.
Yeah, I imagine it was about to expire, so they're just like, you know what, we'll take as much advantage of it and spawn it as far away from the turret as possible so we can set up with it a little bit later.
Well, it looks like IMT want that Drake first. Baron gonna spawn about 10 seconds behind it. So Reptile is tied up with a couple minions for now. They'll lead it forward, try and get some pressure built up as Immortal do look to equalize the Drakes. Ocean and Inferno are not quite created equal, but an easy finish there for IMT. Happy to get a Drake for themselves regardless.
Fnatic, they're grouping up mid. Oh, apparently it doesn't work. I guess he didn't know that.
I did ask that question.
Yeah, Epic Monster, correct. Yeah.
All right, well, no extra movement there for the Reptile, but happy to charge into the mid-tier 2 and deal a significant chunk of damage. Char's going to sit at around 50% health, but Reptile goes down, caps without an ultimate for a little while longer. And then we'll move back play towards this left-hand side again. That early Baron is the possibility for either of these teams.
Now, we do have to say that it's not like Immortals have no late game. Ooh, look at Reckless, look at Reckless.
Oh, found Flame, snuck all the way back around Flame. He's to go a little bit further forward, has now finally found him, but Reckless just gonna force the flash. He has his, he does follow through Flame, wants to knock him back, but that is not enough. Reckless gets the kill.
Now Fnatic also have the minion wave they're pushing on the turret, and they're gonna be able to get it.
Great bit of pressure there from Fnatic. The Infinity Edge finished and poor Flame just did not stand a chance versus that camouflage foot.
And now this is very dangerous for Immortals because all of the investment was towards Khan. Pobelder has the kills, but Flame has the Khan, sorry, I meant Flame up in the top lane.
I can understand the mistake.
Flame up in the top lane on the Jace. He's great in the laning phase. He put a huge amount of pressure onto Soaz, but now, after that death, it's just giving more gold to the carry of Fnatic. Reckless, 4-0-0, 9,500 gold to the 7 of Cody-san. This guy is so strong, and look, the gap between him and Soaz is not that big anymore, and when you think about the value of Cho'Gath later on, things are just going to get harder and harder for Immortals.
One of the big worries for people for Fnatic were the rookies, right? You mentioned Caps earlier, had a problem with getting camped, and Broxah as well, but they were able to get through that mid-game seamlessly, and now it seems like the kind of veteran status is taking over. So as he was not tilted by getting camped there on the Cho'Gath, he's been able to get his pretty free health with the feast stacks up, so he's up to an acceptable level for a front line, even with all the early pressure and with the low CS for himself. And now it comes down to this mid-game shot calling, trying to work around these objectives.
Well, that was a TB from
Soaz.
Soaz.
Soaz got spooked, I think, as IMT were taking the Scuttle Crab around the Baron, certainly threatening.
That veteran experience.
Soaz not tilted. But that's going to hurt them, especially depending on whether or not IMT saw that the TP was used. You would imagine that they did spot it out, but it looks like they didn't want to continue the pressure around the Baron. They're going to be happy with the vision that they've been able to get themselves. And Fnatic, they're just now moving in through the river and trying to get a bit of vision themselves. But IMT, they're like, you have a Cho'Gath, you have a Fed Twitch, you also are playing Ryze, and we know the creative things you can do with that champion around the Baron, so that they're just happy with knowing what's going on for the time being and trying to scale up Cody-san, who's still yet to hit his second item.
Meanwhile, Reckless is leading the charge with Infinity Edge Runins and almost another one completed. Had the early Executioners calling for a bit of utility, and now with that Zeal building in towards that big item as Flame has been flanked again. I think he knows Caps is there, but Broxah is also roaming down.
Yeah, Flame is surrounded. Broxah comes up the river. Caps is looking for the initiation.
Broxah, though, beating him means Flame just has to book it and try and survive. He's going to dodge the Q, and Immortals can pressure onto the Baron. They're straight onto the objective. Soaz can pressure with the Feast, though, so this is a little dicey.
Yeah, remember, Reckless is super fed right now, so you have to watch out for the Twitch. That's going to be the focus for Immortals as they burn this down. Cho'Gath goes in, he wants to feast it.
Ole, very nice, but Soaz going to stay around and try and get it. He does have the Feast. He should be able to grab it. A rupture. Just by Xmithy, who got it? Oh my god, Xmithy gets the Baron. Soaz goes down to Cody, and Immortals take the objective.
Everything goes in favor of Immortals. Fantastic play from them. Caps is forced to flash, and Immortals find exactly what they need.
You have to look at cross map there. As Flame, we left his story earlier on. He was cornered with a Fnatic turret, but he fights his way out. He gets a kill at the same time that Xmithy is able to secure the Baron, and Immortals just in one fell swoop win both sides of the map. Right back into this game with the Baron buff, ready to pressure.
One bad decision from Fnatic that Immortals are so swift to punish. Reckless is strong, but now you have a Baron buffed up Immortals, and this is where you can truly use the split pushing power that Flame has built for himself. Off on a side lane, there are no TPs left, and Immortals are in a fantastic position coming into this game.
Turns out, when you want to win as a split pusher, it is great to win both sides of the map. Flame with some incredible play, and Xmithy somehow beat a Cho'Gath Feast to make sure his team secured the Baron. Now, with the gold lead back to even, Immortals going to have 2 minutes and 20 seconds of pressure as they look to take down some turrets.
Now, the big thing Immortals have to respect is Reckless once again. They're grouping up in the mid lane now, but that guy is surprisingly sneaky. He appears where you least expect it, and you want to try and split push with Flame. Believe it or not, Reckless could be the guy that shows up to try and match you. As Immortals, they're looking to siege onto this tower.
Reckless with a flank, you can see, Cody Son got briefly rooted there by Rise. Soaz also flanking there with Broxah, but maybe going to cut one off. Broxah doesn't quite tag Xmithy, and Soaz blast coach to safety.
And you have to keep in mind that Immortals are running the jungle tank only. They have to worry, just utilize their disengage.
Cast back in, Pobelta cleanses out of the way, and Soaz just barely did not get knocked back by the Gragas ulti, but still Baron is there. The poke is good from Flame, who groups with his team instead, and they do take the turret. Redemption also going to reset it. Immortals going to keep pushing.
Immortals feeling very confident. They still have the Baron for a whole minute. Soaz is losing its health gradually as Immortals continue to poke. They're just grouping up as a 5-man. They do not want to split up again because of the risk of Reckless just appearing out of nowhere, finding that pick. They feel stronger right now, and they're taking advantage of it.
Looks like the retreat back to the Osu Drake is going to be the call here for Immortals. Not willing to press it on that inhibitor turret with this Baron buff. Only a quarter left on it, going to time out soon, so they'll probably use the Empowered Recalls to get back to base and reset. Large chunk of extra gold used for them. Let's take another look, though. Here goes the Flame fighting his way out. So let's see how early Caps leaves this, maybe. He goes behind the turret. Broxah does take this one, but here comes the burst damage, probably. So I kills off the minions.
Ah, yeah. Oh, and he's going to get shock blasted mid-jump.
What happened there, Broxah kicked him into the turret range, but the minions got there just in time, so the turret did not shoot Flame, and it wasn't enough damage to finish him off. That's how he fought his way out, and then Caps was trying to go over to the Baron play. Here's the Baron play that we were just seeing.
Great smite from Xmithy as well. Trying to outsmite the Cho'Gath is extremely difficult, but they timed their burst effectively, they found the objective, and they got themselves a couple kills to boot.
It's going to red Soaz's mind there. He did feast for that Baron, but Xmithy just knew exactly when to press the button. As Immortals still applying pressure, Baron buff may have worn off, but this turret is going to be there as they claim their 5th of this game and slowly push themselves up to almost 1,000 gold. And wouldn't you have it, the next Drake will be an Infernal, with Baron, of course, respawning in a few minutes as well. So action is increasing as this game moves on.
You know, we talked a lot about how Soaz on the Cho'Gath's going to have a lot of later game value and how Flame, it gets harder for him to utilize this Jace, but you've also got to say the same for Broxah on this Lee Sin. Level 11 now. His early game was fantastic, but that's pretty much all he's done so far in this game. He's 0, 1, and 2. He's down 2 levels to Xfinity, and he's not going to have the same sort of tank value that the Gragas will have later on. Even going for a very early Black Cleaver, this guy is just looking to try and find the picks, find the outplays, but I don't know if that's exactly what Fnatic need when they're putting all their eggs on the Reckless basket.
That's a good story. I am still thinking about the Flame outplay and how he got those minion, the minion up there for the turret to actually get aggro on it. Clearing out the enemy minion wave was the biggest part. I almost want to see the replay again. Regardless, though, let's get back to the present here. I need you guys to jump me back because you're very right here. You know, Broxah here with the Black Cleaver trying to have a similar effect with Lee Sin. It's going to be difficult. Even though we mentioned that Immortals are just running basically the jungle tank on the front line, they have the Janna for the disengage, Gragas for the disengage as well, plus all these shields and heals that are coming through mean that they don't really need that extra front person, and they're making it work with the damage instead.
Now talk about well, Reckless Flame did pick up a GA, and now he's looking at 1v1 Soaz. Oh, never mind, his friends have arrived as well. Pobelta with a wonderful wall cuts him off, and Flame will get a kill.
Fantastic collapse from Immortals. Flame was already in the... Oh no, he TP'd behind on the ward, and Fnatic, they're not in a position to punish Immortals. They're all recalling now to try and answer the pushing in minion waves, but here's Reckless up in the top.
Yeah, Reckless doesn't want to let him get away with that one scot-free. Burns down this turret with the extra attack speed. Immortals are back out, but they might get baited in here. It looks like Caps is planning a surprise.
Oh, flashes over, looks for the Janna. He's going to maybe get away. Damage is not enough, but soon no, doesn't save him. Reckless unstoppable with the poison as Broxah takes down Cody. Fnatic pick up the duo lane.
Reckless here looking for another opening, but they're well aware he just went invisible, and Immortals going to have to stall it out after that one. That was 2 kills going over to Fnatic, and with Baron only 47 seconds away, Fnatic, actually they're still pressuring. Rise ultimate does come down.
Fnatic basically saying, you know what's worked for us so far? Punishing the bottom lane. Let's just keep doing it. Who cares if they're top? We want to keep getting kills, and now we want to break into the base.
That Rise ultimate really crucial in getting the minions up there quick enough because there's only 13 seconds left on the death timers. They're trying to burn down the turret first.
He's going to go down very quickly. Reckless does have enough. Able to take down the turret. Fnatic open up an inhibitor there in top lane, and Baron now 20 seconds away. Broxah is low, so something could break here. Fnatic may try to rush this Baron, but I think they need to set up their vision and go back with Immortals. That gives them pressure now around the objective if they want it.
Fnatic are able to take down the Scuttle Crab though, so they have vision around this part of the map. IMT, they still have a relatively fast Baron, especially with Cody Sun on this cog more. Immortals, they look like they're going to start this one off. Let's see if Fnatic can answer.
Round 2, Soaz versus Xmithy, although Broxah's here to maybe make that an uneven fight, and Immortals quickly pull off the Baron.
Yeah, it looked like they were trying to draw out a cheeky teleport or something cool down there from Fnatic. Immediately back off, even though they got it one time with a Cho'Gath in the pit. You don't want to play that game a whole bunch of times because the odds aren't in your favor. Meanwhile, we'll get another look at here. Caps and Broxah flanking around the duo, catching both of them. We were able to get the double last hits here. Then again, even though Cody Sun used his Kog'Maw passive there to kill off most of that minion wave, Caps goes back, he Rise ults in the second wave that was coming down, so as then teleports on it, and they were able to rush down and expose that inhibitor pretty quickly.
Now we've got another close game, gentlemen. The start of the day was exciting with Flash Wolves versus TSM. We had a bit of a one-sided game with Team WE versus Misfits, but now it's EU versus NA. Very close once again. Both these teams arguably fighting for that second place in the group. Many predict Longjude to be the favorites, and after Fnatic's performance yesterday, everyone was expecting IMT to dominate, but Reckless has been coming up big, and he's looking to find another pick.
Flame's just hoping it. He's like, I don't want to go anywhere near this Twitch if my team isn't around. Fnatic's carries are very strong. I mean, we haven't really seen too much of Caps. It's been kind of a quiet learning phase for him, but also 4 damage items ready for the Rise, and now looking to maybe 1v1 Pobelta. Pobelta insta-cleanses out, but he needs to keep running. Caps, he's going to go there, the redemption from Malay, could turn it back around. Caps pumps the Seraph, juking as he can. Next Q dodge, Pobelta flashes in, but there's the zombies into the realm of Caps gets out.
Yep, Caps was definitely expecting that one, but is he expecting Flame? He's coming around the corner on the bottom side.
Oh no, Caps, he's got nothing left. No ult, no zone, no flash, but Flame opens up. 1v2, flashes in. Monsoon not enough. Cody now there for the ult. He's It's great. Broxer puts through so many rocks. And that is not going to be enough to get the kill there. But Cat does go down. Reckless again, looking for the flank onto Pobelta, takes him down. Fnatic just playing so aggressive in these fights.
Pastry, take a second to breathe. Let us cover Reckless. He's continuing to look for more picks. Soaz comes in, knock-up land.
Cody Starr gets ruptured. That's bad news, bad. Soaz able to get himself a kill. And Reckless not done. Under the turret, tanking its damage. Almost kills another.
Beautiful 1v1 between Caps and Pobelta. Such clutch movements that allowed both of them to escape. But then Flame, he moved away to try and get that kill into Caps. But he was the bait all along. Reckless in the middle lane was the guy looking for the pick. And Fnatic found a successful fight.
Flame ended up getting the kill onto Caps, but Fnatic ended up getting the kills onto all the rest of Immortals and then taking the Infernal Drake. Definitely would rather be the team with double Infernals late game than double Ocean Drakes here, and the teleports come in around Baron.
The irony, gentlemen, we have Flame, who's ADCS above Soaz, but a Flame Horizon from Reckless over his counterpart in Cody, sir.
This Twitch is massive, and Fnatic are onto the Baron. IMT going to try and force them off as Jesus very low from the poke. Pobelta walling up to get here faster because Cody needs a lot of time to run back from base. Immortals, if they can get a kill here, maybe they can turn it back around, but Caps jukes the poke.
They're actually backing off, waiting for Cody Sun to join so they can have the 5x5. So it's
Huge double rupture though. Pobelta just getting shredded. A clutch locker from Olay. He's going to maybe save him inside. Oh my god, he goes down to Cody. A snipe from the artillery.
Beautiful pick from Cody Sun. They shut down the big front line, and IMT, they have position around the Baron.
There's a double wave there up on the top side turret. Reckless is going to clear it out. He reveals himself in the top side, so Immortals are actually rushing down this Baron, and there's no Cho'Gath
It's all on
to worry about.
The feast is dead. Equal level junglers. Here is a 50-50. Broxer can't go back in. That's Baron Immortals.
Beautiful setup from Immortals. Cody Sun doing the damage that his team needed to shut down the front line. The map was in favor of Immortals, and they get themselves another Baron, another back and forth over and over again. Both these teams want to get their first win of Group B.
What a game we've got on our hands here. Now Immortals again with a Baron buff to try and push, but Fnatic still with the gold lead, still with the double Infernals, and still with an insane Twitch that is full build, plus elixirs ready to roll, and a Lulu buffing them up.
Certainly very scary. Again, we're going to probably learn the reason why Fnatic put so much effort into making sure Reckless can thrive. But until we get there, let's watch this one again. This was such a close pick.
So initially, this looks fantastic for Fnatic because they silence Pobelta. He gets obliterated by Reckless, but then the knockup from the Janna to just zone away the rest of Fnatic isolated Soaz and allowed them to get the shutdown on the big tank.
And Smithy with the Gragas ultimate came up huge. Now Baroned up double minion wave here. Cutting off the ultimate, goes down.
Oh my god, Soaz actually knocked back into the team, the Wild Growth and the Redemption. He's going to keep him alive. He also popped the Stone Plate just in case.
The Stone Plate does save him, and Reckless opens up to provide cover fire for Soaz to escape there. Veterans working together, they do save his life, and here comes round number 2.
Soaz back to base with his full health once again. Cody Sun is still trying to take this turret down, but Reckless, he wants to flank through the base gate. Turret though does fall, and now we have two different units to expose, but Immortals with the Baron buff are still applying pressure.
IMT, they have the position on the inhibitor. They're the first ones to set their eyes on the first inhibitor of the game. The gold is dead even. Fnatic, they're feeling it right now.
Yeah, in fights like this, range is king, and Twitch has to rely on the ultimate for extra range, but the Kog'Maw gets to renew with the W, so Immortals have the pressure since their AD carry is safer, and Fnatic just decided to send Reckless off. He said, without the ultimate, you're not going to be able to get close enough to do damage in this fight. We'll just sacrifice it, and you can go get some more farm and a red buff. Although I don't know why they're giving him more farm. He's just going to buy more elixirs, I guess.
Jesus joins in and said maybe going to try and share some of these. I don't think Reckless is super fond of that plan, as Caps does get pushed back down the mid lane. Immortals get what they came for though in the bot lane, taking the first inhibitor of this game. Fnatic still have the gold lead, but it's not by much. In this game, starting to push later and later. TSM Flash Wolves was a 54-minute affair. This could go longer.
This is what the fans wanted, Pastry. EU versus NA, the 40-minute back and forth. We've seen upsides for Fnatic, we've seen upside from Immortals, great Baron control from the side of the North Americans, whereas Fnatic, the Europeans constantly finding these picks, and right now it is IMT that are in control. They're the ones that have the Baron. It is about to wear off. The inhibitor in the bottom lane has started stacking up minions, but their eyes is on the second inhibitor in the middle lane.
Caps on the side there was looking for an angle with the Rise ultimate, trying to flank again, and Broxa himself wants to kick in Cody's son.
Look at him, look at Cody.
Cody's so far forward, he's actually on the caps, that might be enough to rupture. He's getting 11 Xfinity, already killed Dons. Beautiful monsoon by Olay, but Cody still forced the fire flash down to Xfinity into the redemption. Is barely going to live.
Olay playing like a madman right now, keeping everybody alive. Soaz is down, and IMT, their eyes, they want to take another tower.
Pobelter's going to cut them off, and Immortals go in.
Great wall there from Pobelter. Another inhibitor is set to fall here for Immortals. Baron buff barely wears off, and they turn the trick twice.
25 seconds left on Soaz. Immortals have the power play. 5 versus 4.
They're going for it here. Broxa gonna take a bit of poke there from Flame. Remember, they shred turrets so quickly. Flame, bit of free time, and that's Nexus turret number 1.
There's no ultimate on top of Reckless, so Fnatic don't feel comfortable engaging in IMT. They walk away with another inhibitor. The Nexus is even more exposed, and IMT have so much control over this game.
28 seconds on this Elder Dragon spawn. Immortals are staying in this brush, but Death Brush versus Fnatic doesn't often work out. There's a lot of minions that are going to see him in mid lane too, so
they're going to rush in.
Oh, they're actually going to go for it here. IMT going to push back up. Soaz does have TP caps, does as well. Maybe realize that the fake is worth the space just to go back down to the Elder. A double block perhaps for Immortals.
All right, there is a teleport on Soaz, who's currently top lane. They're probably going to use it to get down to this Elder Dragon. Bottom lane minions, though, for Immortals might do the work. Even though Immortals didn't continue that push, that feint was all about getting the minion wave to pressure, because a single inhibitor turret can't get taken down by just minions.
But look at Reckless now. He's pushing up the middle lane, and that gives the idea for Immortals to just rush this down.
It's just so dangerous. Immortals have so much unspent gold they need to take down the objective of Broxa. Is here ready for the smite. Soaz tied up right now, but another 50-50 could be here.
It reset. That gives a little bit more time for Fnatic as the poke comes out from Flame.
Oh man, that gives more time. And here we go. It is going to come down to the smite fight. No Cho'Gath here.
Who's got it? Broxa steals it away. Almost dies to the ultimate cap. Flashes in another monsoon as Soaz TP's down for the fight. Immortals need to book it back to base. Do get out of the way, Fnatic. They just take the steal and leave.
Fnatic finally get some kind of consolation prize. They're able to get themselves the Elder Dragon on top of 2 Infernal Drakes as well. IMT, they could have gone back to base, they could have reset, they could have spent their gold and then set up around the Elder. Instead, they wanted to stick around, they wanted to utilize the double super minions and the fact that someone would be forced to go back to base, but unfortunately, it all came down to the 50-50. They couldn't find the fight, it all came down to that gamble, which resulted in Fnatic finding the window, which they took.
Yeah, at this stage of the game, can't give up the map pressure. They stick around and try and make use. But take a look at the combo of damage. He got that smite at 162 to be able to finish it off. Just barely, not enough burst there from the other side. Now, we're in a world where the Elder Dragon double Infernal team actually has some extra power if they get the team fight. They still have to deal with the double lines of super minions from those inhibitors though.
Fortunately for Fnatic, they do have the double TP, with Cap still having his teleport available. But a bigger thing for Immortals right now is that even though Cody's son was at a massive deficit early on, he's now a 4-item Cogmore 40 minutes into the game. This is not a weak AD carry. This guy is someone that you really have to be afraid of.
Baron coming up. Let's get some more action, boys. Control wards go down.
Cap's TP's in early. This should just be a fight. Flame actually buying time as he looks to take down the turrets, but he's going to walk back very quickly.
This is tense, boys.
So tense.
You have to be very careful with that split because even a teleport channel, the duration of that channel would be too much. The team fight too explosive, so Flame actually has to come and join the team here. Pobelter is coming from base. He's pushing up the super minion line up mid lane, but Fnatic actually want to start this one off quicker.
Good Wolf. Pobelter going to make him into the pit. Brock's actually isolated. Gets out with a Warthog.
It's a lot of damage down onto the jungler of Fnatic. There is mid lane also pushing in Immortals' favor, and Immortals, they're just trying to buy time, they're just trying to make things as awkward as possible, wait for Fnatic to make that misstep so that they can just capitalize and go for that Snowball Baron.
Inhibitor still down for Fnatic, but they've got about a third of that duration left before it respawns, so Fnatic just need to buy a few precious minutes here.
Elder Dragon going to expire now for Fnatic, though the extra true damage won't be there.
And I think Immortals actually starting to fish around these lanes and try and catch someone like Reckless or Caps, who've very proactively been looking for flanks. If Fnatic go out of line for just a second and Immortals find them, losing either of these carries, but especially Reckless, might just mean the game. So Fnatic, they want to play aggressive and pick good fights, but they cannot do it if they can't see particularly Xmithy. You mentioned 10th before, this game is just balanced very precariously.
Vision is so important. You called it perfectly, Pastry. Reckless on the edge of danger all the time, but look at the altar. Here it is, the right play for the Baron.
They're going for it. The macro is great as Cap gets him in, and that's Baron and Fnatic. You cannot stop that beautiful play from Fnatic.
Now they have the Baron empowered recalls as well. There can't be any answer here from Immortals. Perfect defense now for Fnatic. They get to go back to base, they get to reset, and now pushing power of Baron.
Take a bow, Fnatic. That was immaculate timing. They're in Hibs respawn, they grab the Baron, and now again, they've got the pressure.
We talked about it earlier on in the game, how there was that possibility to utilize the Ryze ulti to swiftly catch a target off guard, and Fnatic finally used that window of opportunity. Immortals were not expecting that, and now they're the ones that can lay siege to the base of Immortals. Exposed Inhibitor in the top lane. Level 18 across the board for Fnatic. And things are going to be looking scary for Immortals. But again, they still have the Cogmore. Pobel is dishing out some serious damage this late game. And Xmithy, he has made huge plays that have won his team games in the past. And my eyes will be on him to see if he can do it once again.
Immortals know that they don't have to extend out into that dangerous territory. They are very well aware of this Twitch, and Reckless has been fishing around looking for opponents to jump on. But now they've got a triple, maybe quadruple stacked minion wave here coming down with Baron empowered resistances.
They're going to try and clear it out. Immortals doing a nice job there, kind of flanking the way from all sides. More than enough damage deals to get it down, but cannot afford to do a switches to get caught. And Reckless, huge flank on the left.
Rupture might be the opening, they don't take it.
Ooh, Cap takes a lot of damage, but Cody got chunked as well. Reckless still with the ulti though, that is crucial. Pobelta almost clipped him, but Cap does take the last hit on that hit. Now it's Immortals that have to play with supers in a lane.
Yeah, Immortals were willing to sacrifice one inhibitor going down though, because they still have the standing turrets at the other one. So they know there's not going to be a huge opening. Fnatic very happy to get that one line though, and Reckless still looking around for any stragglers.
He's after those picks, a very classic Reckless move. You can just see the big minion waves in the bottom lane as well. TP is up for Soaz, Caps, his TP is about to return. Immortals and Fnatic have fought back and forth throughout this game. It has been so hard fought, and this game isn't even over yet for Immortals. Just like with TSM versus Flash Wolves, that one fight could determine everything. There's very little left of the base of Fnatic. Immortals only need to find a crucial pick onto someone like Reckless, and the game suddenly swings back to theirs, and they can suddenly get the win.
Reckless, by the way, is working on the not often seen double flame horizon, creeping up on 575.
We call that the Reckless.
Ah, I see. Well, Cody again still full build, so not going to feel too disappointed. I mean, everyone at this point is stocked up as far as builds go. Execution is going to be the thing to look for here, and this game could end in an instant.
Well, I don't think Immortals should let that instance be at a secondary turret. You know, inhibitor ones are a lot easier to defend, but they are posing a very good, clearing defense here at the secondary turret. Meanwhile, top lane, the minions are building up, and those are going to take a toll on the inhibitor, or on the Nexus turret, if they don't send someone back to deal with it.
Yeah, patience is something we've talked a lot about this game, and so as he gets a little impatient there, trying to check the brush, will take a chunk of damage, but that's all it is for Fnatic. They just need to bide their time. Eventually, they're going to take this tower. All IMT are doing are just trying to delay the Baron as long as humanly possible.
I'm just so impressed with how bold Reckless is with his champion. He's standing in a watered brush. Obviously, they can't see him with his Q up, but Soa's going to get moved back into the team. He got actually massively chunked up. Great flush from Soa, saves his life. The cast would have knocked him back into Immortals.
What a force there from Immortals. 4 versus 5. They're able to get most of Soa's health and his flash down, plus the activation of the Stone Plate.
Size. He needs to be stacking way more magic resistance. Cody-san, the thing is, the more HP you have, the more damage that Kog'Maw is going to do, but it is magic damage. You can still itemize against it. And while the Warmugs will help Size get back into the fray, that's going to be a big summoner spell now unavailable for the top laner of Fnatic. Think about how impactful that Cho'Gath ultimate can be this late into the game.
That was actually an incredibly impressive, hold there.
Yeah, for sure.
Very often we see teams in that situation just sacrifice the half health secondary turret because gold isn't really that big of an issue at this point anymore. But surprising couple of combos there on Soaz are able to buy them that time. And we're approaching the 50-minute mark here, fellas. And the 50-minute mark is where the death timer is extremely long and extremely punishing. So we'll see if it actually does come to fruition around this Elder Dragon that's coming up in just 145, or if it happens before then. Is Reckless finally going to find the straggler that actually at this point would break open the game? If he does, level 18 members, they're going to be gone for 70 seconds here.
I feel like the Immortals mantra right now is don't leave the base. Watch out for Reckless, because this guy's always looking for picks, and I feel like they have learnt now the playstyle of the AD carry from Fnatic. They are not falling to the trap. They're always staying as a 5-man unit, and Ole is there to just disengage and make sure that the sneaky Twitch doesn't find anything suspicious.
Well, Caps finally finishes off the turret. The Immortals so excellently defended, but it has to be stated yet again, this game for Fnatic lives and dies by the way Reckless plays. If he gets caught, the game, in my opinion, is over. But if he finds a flank, gets a perfect angle on the ultimate, he will casually wipe a few members, if not all of them, off Summoner's Rift. So he may be playing up and bold and to his style, but he needs to be careful, because if he dies, I think the game's over.
All right, well, we are going to get the decision point very quickly here. Only 36 seconds on this Elder Dragon, and Immortals are not making any moves to get vision over there, to move out into that territory. So it might just be a huddle up and defensive here, maybe with 45 seconds on Baron.
Oh, play both the storm, there's the ultimate, though. It's the flash Reckless, flashes in there! Oh no! He does get knocked up! Cody's son! I'm gonna take him down and Cap. He gets out of the way, but the rest of Fnatic, they're in trouble! That's the Cody's son!
This late in the game, those are the plays that make the definitive statement. And now it's going to be Immortals with a huge power play.
Reckless, he tries to go for the play, he goes for the flash, and that ends in his death. This is disaster for Fnatic, and they're now trying to get something back.
Only one option left. Do something that Fnatic have done as an organization so many times. Xpiti, he's going back. The rest of IMT, they're going to get the race going. Pobelta moves forward. Remember, only one Nexus turret left. Flame went back as well. I don't think they can do this. Xpiti interrupts it and him
They're going to lose. They're going to lose. Fnatic, they can't commit to this. IMT, they're going to win the game.
The turrets are exposed. This could be bad news. The turrets are going to fall. IMT force Fnatic out, and they win another slobber knocker.
Reckless flashes forward to get the execution, but Sonya's available for Pobelter, and Cody's son answers, defending his mid laner.
That one play at the very end. Reckless has to, he can feel the weight on him now. He knew he made a mistake. IMT was so quick to react. They always stayed as that 5-man. They were so ready to turn that around, and they just went straight for the game end.
There's so many things you have to account for in these late game team fights, and item activates are some of the ones that go through the cracks. People always will forget about those.
Well, I hate to say I told you so, but unfortunately that game, Fnatic die by Reckless. A very small mistake, but a game costing one, and Reckless, head in hands, he breathes a big sigh out. That was a tough loss for Fnatic.
And it also means a lot for the group. Remember that Fnatic are already 0-2. They dropped a game to the Gigabyte Marines. Going at this kind of a score this early on is definitely going to hurt them, and now they're going to have all these wins mean even more, and their next opponent is Longzhu. Like, this is not the sort of opposition you're expected to be able to beat. And with such a clutch game that could have gone either way, Fnatic will definitely start to feel the pressure.
Had a lot of really highlight plays from Flame as well on Immortals. Leave it to the Korean to redefine NAJ. That's true. Fights his way out, he's cornered in the top lane. The team got Baron during that. That was one of the critical moments of this game. And you have to go back a long ways to remember it, but that was a huge swing for Immortals that really got them in place to even take this game that long.
And another look again at the other native Korean on Immortals, Ole. It is this tough to really call like Janna play breathtaking so often of the time because they just use their shields, they press their buttons, and people get out and send. So Ole had some of the clutchest Janna play I think